Welcome to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by LA's First Choice Auto Auction on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion football. Now, live from Topala Catering in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
The Southeastern Lions had their best win of the season this past weekend and was arguably the most dominant performance we've seen since football returned here to Hammond. The Lions crushed the 6th-ranked Central Arkansas Bears 34-0 to move into a first-place tie in the Southland Conference. Quarterback Cole Kelly led the Lion offense with 5 total touchdowns, including 4 on the ground. Defensively, Orlando Jordan led the Lions with 2 interceptions as the Lion defense held Braylon Smith of UCA to 17 of 39 passing and marked the first time the Bears were shut out at home since 1986. This win catapulted the Lions back into the top 25 in both major polls and allowed the Lions to continue toward their goal of a Southland Conference championship, with the next hurdle being Abilene Christian this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home right here at Topala Catering in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us, wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network or watching live on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock. Over the next hour, we'll hear from Coach Scelfo, and he'll break down this big win against UCA and get you ready for the Abilene Christian Wildcats this Saturday. Also, volleyball coach Jeremy White is here, and we'll hear from him. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topala on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, right here live from our home, Topala Catering in downtown Hammond. I'm Alan Waddell. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Frank Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here. And, man, what an impressive win this past Saturday, 34-0 on the road against the then-ranked 6th-ranked UCA Bears.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody to be here tonight, too. Really appreciate that. And we had a good crowd that followed us up there, too.
Yep.
And the team played well, Alan. You know, I thought we executed well. But I thought it started back on Monday. We talked about it last week, how I thought the whole key to the game was going to be how well we prepared during the course of the week. And I thought we did a good job. Players were locked in. There wasn't a lot of messing around. There wasn't a lot of busted assignments during the implementation of the base downs, third downs, red zone. And I thought we did a good job.
Southeastern has not historically played well on the stripes at UCA. Only one win since football had returned, since UCA has joined the conference. But you went up there and won at a very hard place to play. They don't lose a lot of games up there, and you were dominant in this game. Shut them out at home for the first time since 1986. This was an offense that was really humming. Braylon Smith, one of the top quarterbacks in our league. You held those guys to 17 of 39 passing, picked him off 3 times. It was an overall it was good on both sides of the football. Obviously, your offense was efficient. You put up a bunch of yards, scored 5 touchdowns, but then defensively to hold those guys with no points, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if you can imagine going up there and doing that against that caliber of football team.
Yeah, well, you don't. You like I said, you prepare all week long to do things that you're supposed to do, and the game plan was good. And I think another key to the whole deal, offensively, we kept the ball for 38 minutes.
Yeah.
And we had an 8 minutes and 45-second drive at the end of the first half and got us and scored. And when you do that, it's a 16-play drive. And when you do that, it just takes the air out of the other team. That way, we had a little give and take early on. We had 3 straight 3-and-outs on both sides of the ball, and then we punched one in, and the next thing you know, things kind of took off for us. But I thought both sides of the ball really played well from an execution standpoint.
Obviously, one of the big storylines in this game was Cole Kelly. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in this game, also threw a touchdown. He was named Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Week, also named the Stats National FCS Player of the Week for that performance. Certainly a big performance by him. You've been playing them both all year, Coach. Chasen is your starter. Cole came in after the first couple of series, and he just decided to stick with the hot hand. I guess talk about that decision and the dynamic of what both of those guys have been bringing to the table. I mean, they're both playing, and they're both playing well.
Yeah, they're both playing at a real high level. I mean,
they're number 1 and number 2 in the conference right now in pass efficiency.
How fortunate are we to have both of those guys, and I think they complement each other well. I think early in the game we had the turf that UCA has presented us some problems, and it's very slippery. It's a slick surface. And we had a chance. Chasen hit Devontae out of the backfield for a big play, and he slipped. And he also hit Austin on another flare route, and he slipped. And we had a penalty on a long run by J.J. Connor, and had to come back.
Yep.
So it wasn't that Chasen was playing bad. It was we had planned on going in the 3rd, 4th series, something like that with Cole. And it just so happened that timed out. He went down and scored, and we saw that UCA had changed a little bit defensively. And so we said, well, let's give him another series, scored again. So now you feel good about it. Let's give him another series. And that was a long drive right before the half. So we had 6 series in the first half, and the first 3 were 3-and-outs, and that was really didn't take up a lot of time on the clock. But the next 3 series were long drives, and they kept their team off of the field. And it gave us an opportunity to pick up points in all 3 of them. So going into halftime, 21-0, obviously it's a great feeling. But we also know they're the best second-half football team we played all year long. So there was nothing going in the locker room celebrating. There wasn't any of that. Well, let's go back to work and let's make any adjustments we got to make. But I think both quarterbacks feed off each other. Both of them support each other. They're good friends. They live together. They spend a lot of time together. And Chasen's our starter. He's our captain. He's our leader out there. He does all the things for us. He motivates our guys. He brings it every week, and that's not going to change. We're going to continue to do that. Cole has a role. He knows his role, and he does a good job doing it. He's getting more and more comfortable offensively with the entire package. But, we'll continue to do what's keeping us successful right now.
It was one of those situations, too, is again, Cole had 4 touchdown runs, the longest being only 9 yards. And it was one of those situations
that's
where
a long one for him. Yeah.
we kind of kept getting pushed out at the 1 or 2 yard line, and we had some short opportunities to bang them in.
Devontae and Austin, both of those guys said after, I said, why didn't you try to cut back? And they said, we just never felt comfortable with our footing. Right. And so we just tried to get it as close as we could, and we got pushed out of bounds at the 1 and 2 yard line. And then, obviously we're gonna run Cole in from there. So it's just how it worked out. It's not you don't go planning those things. It's just how it worked out. And at that point in time, those situations presented itself.
Coach, defensively for Lando Jordan, a couple of interceptions in this one. Also, Chantrez Spates had a big interception as well,
which is a really big one because that was coming out in the second half. That was Alexis Ramos covered the back on a wheel route. got his hand on it, bounced it up. Chantrez had gone over with a post route and then turned, and it was an effort play, and turned when the ball was thrown and got back over there. The ball was tipped up, and he laid out and caught it and picked it off. So it was a great effort by Chantrez to be able to make that play.
Defensively, certainly, it always starts when you can stop the run. They rushed it 21 times for only 68 yards. And then again, I mentioned earlier, you held them to 17 of 39 passing for only 193 yards, so 60 snaps, 261. A very good average per play defensively in this one. It just seemed like you were almost in the huddle with them. Your guys just had a really good opportunity of what was going on and made some great plays on the balls. They had some guys, and we just made plays and broke them up.
We did. I think there were a couple of PBUs early in the game that kind of got the quarterback off rhythm. And I thought our rush, even though we only got 2 sacks, we pushed him a few times. He had to get out of there. So the timing of a lot of the routes were off. The game, Lance and the defensive staff did a super job from a game plan standpoint. But, you can come up with all the things you want as a coach. If the players don't execute it, what does it matter? But our guys did. They were locked in all week long. And like I told you, I thought the preparation during the course of the week was really good. And when you talk to them, when they're able to tell you what they're being told and understanding the why that they're being told, that's when you really know something good is going on. And they were able to do that, and it helped us out during the course of the game.
Coach, that was a good football team you beat on Saturday. They were leading the conference. There has only been 3 FCS over FBS wins this year. They have one of them. They beat Western Kentucky in week 1, and Western Kentucky blew out Arkansas this past week. Yeah. So that's a good football team you played. They have a good out-of-conference victory over Austin Peay, who's leading the Ohio Valley as well. And this was a good offense. And I thought defensively, you just were more physical than them. I thought we kind of pushed them around a little bit defensively and got to the quarterback, affected him, and it showed. And it was kind of like a fight. As the game went longer, those body blows wore on them, and they couldn't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, and like I said, us keeping the ball as long as we did, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Again, we had it for over 11 minutes. We had 11 in the second and then over 11 in the fourth.
We ran 21 more plays than them.
Yeah, and we're not an up-tempo team who tries to get a bunch of points. That's not what we try to do. I mean, a bunch of snaps. It's not what we try to do. But we just kept the football, and we continued to move it and burn the clock. And as long as we got it, they don't have it, and they're not going to score. And we're able to do that. And when we got it, we created 4 turnovers. Our kickoff team, I was so happy for them. They got another one, just like the HBU game. So that's 2 this year for our kickoff team on turnovers, and that's awesome. That's a great number. We're looking for one more. We got to get one more in these next 2 games. So, but those guys are doing a heck of a job on that unit.
Coach, I'm sure there was a lot of teams in the Southland Conference rooting for your football team this past week because to make this thing interesting, we had to pull UCA back to the pack, so to speak. And I don't know, have you ever been a part of a race where it's a 4-way tie this deep into the season? As there's 4 teams right now sitting at 5-2 in the league.
No, I haven't. We were talking about it earlier today. I think when I was at Arizona, it was Stanford, Oregon, and Southern Cal were all at the top. And then we were down, and Washington was down a little bit, but those 3 guys were at the top, but never with 4. But we talked about at the beginning of the year, we've been saying this the whole year, is that the conference, top to bottom, is strong, man. Guys can win. You can win on the road, you can win at home, and guys can win anywhere. And it's getting more and more parity. You see the investments that people are making in their programs. I thought UCA's facilities and everything else really nice, beautiful campus. They're in a beautiful town. You can see what's going on there and what they're doing, and you can see why they've been consistently good over time. But, all the places we've been to, and it's my second time through the conference, and for me to be able to see kind of what's going on and get a better lay of the land has really been eye-opening for me. It's been good. And so to see, what other people are doing and why they're developing and why those programs are growing and getting better, you can actually see it taking place right before your eyes.
If you weren't with us a week ago, we talked about that last year was the first time that the Southland Conference ever had a champion that had multiple losses. Well, that's going to happen again here this year. So it's back-to-back years of Southland Conference champion. We'll have multiple.
Hope it's 2. I'm pulling for 2.
Yeah, we're pulling for 2.
2's a good number for me. I like that number.
Also, I don't want to go to break without mentioning that Philando Jordan, with his 2 interceptions, he was also named Southland Conference Defensive Player of the Week. So we had the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week this week. And also, Philando Jordan was named Louisiana Sports Writer Association Defensive Player of the Week as well. So some nice awards.
And, we do celebrate. We celebrate the individual honors, but that's not, it's just really not who we are. We got a good group of guys. They work together. They pull for each other. And when somebody gets pushed forward by somebody else, we don't push them forward. Our team doesn't push them forward. It's outside entities doing that, and we celebrate them and go back to work the next day.
Lions win 34-0 over UCA. That's 3 in a row for Southeastern. 2 big ones left. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this one right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What opportunity has Southeastern provided you that you will forever be thankful for?
Southeastern's giving me the education I need for my future. Whether or not I go pro, I know I'm going to be successful.
All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, right here live at Topla Catering in downtown Hammond. This is the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. I'm Alan Waddell. As coming up on our program, we're going to talk with a volleyball coach. He's here as well, Jeremy White. He brought us a signed volleyball coach,
Nice,
so we're going to give that away. So I'll show that on our television here, on our stream. So we're going to give that
He's
away.
He's got a special group with him, the ladies.
Big turnaround. We're going to talk about that later. Big time turnaround.
Unbelievable. Yep, absolutely.
Lions win this one 34-0 over the 6th-ranked team in the nation, Central Arkansas, as we went to break. Talking about some of those individual accolades, Coach mentioned that certainly that's not the goal, but it is nice to get those guys some recognition, no doubt about it. And when those
I
guys
would have given them some earlier in the year. We had some other guys during the course of the year. We've done some good things.
This is the first time we've had Player of the Week.
Yeah, there you go.
Kimmler put himself on the spot this week.
Well, Kimmler is SID of the week. How about that? Give that Kimmler a round of applause, man.
No doubt. Got some national
Kimmler's
honors.
awesome. Yeah.
No doubt about it. Also moved back into the top 25 this week in both polls as well. So
just thought we should have been there the whole time. I just love our team. I think, we're going to be there. We're going to compete for 60 minutes, and I love the way our guys do it. I like what's going on and their focus and where they're at and the way they went to practice today. I like what's going on. So we'll see how this week stacks out.
Coach, you've had some nice wins since you've been here. You think back to McNeese last year, pretty dominant win, and then Jacksonville State week 1. This is probably top to bottom best performance you've had here at Southeastern.
Yeah, I
your
think
team?
so. If you take out and of course you nitpick everything, right? I mean, that's coaches do, but the turnovers, the 2 turnovers, those are unfortunate, especially one going in the end zone. A missed extra point. I mean, what else can you talk about?
Right.
Maybe we could have made a tackle. We missed a couple of tackles, 1 or 2 less penalties. We had 9, but 2 of them we took on ourselves for the delay of games. So you can always nitpick, but I thought overall our team we're doing what we said we wanted to do, which is get better as the year goes on, and we have been getting better each week. And we have to continue that climb. We can't take a dip and take a step back. We have to continue growing and getting better and stacking good practices on good practices and then playing well, having that translate into the game on Saturday. And if we continue to do that, we'll play well again, and then that'll carry over and see how far it takes us. But you just have to have that mindset. I think the positivity that we have around our program right now is really good. And it's coming from the locker room. Those guys are feeling good about what's happening.
Coach, I thought he got off to a really good start this year and maybe lulled a little bit in the middle. But how good is Devontae Williams? How well is he playing right now? I mean, he's been outstanding the last couple of weeks. 6 more catches in this one, 86 yards. Also ran the ball physically as well. 9 carries, 32 yards in this one. Talk about what he brings to the table.
I think what people lost on him, he got hurt, and so we missed a couple of games, and then came back a little hobbled. Just wasn't full speed. Well, he was full speed early. And he's about full speed now.
Yep.
And so you can see what's happened in the last couple of weeks with him. He's a dynamic leader for us. He's a tough guy. He practices hard. He understands what's going on. He's a mature player, and that's what you need from a leadership standpoint. He understands the weight room, nutrition, going to class, the whole package. You know, this guy's I just think he's one of those guys that have been overlooked. He doesn't have 1,000 yards rushing or receiving or anything else. But if we needed him to return kicks and punts, he would do that too. We just hadn't had to have him back there because he hadn't been healthy. But now he's getting healthy. We're able to inject more stuff into him.
When you look at the drive chart in this game, you mentioned it earlier, some long drives. Your first half touchdown drives, 8 plays, 75 yards, 9 plays, 80, 16, 91.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
I want you to talk about that last possession right before the half. You have it down there inside the 5. Probably only time for one play left. It's 4th down. You decide to go for it and not kick a field goal there and try to go up 17. What's your thought process there? Again, this has been a very good second-half team. I don't think anybody that was watching this game thought this one was over by any means at that point in the game. Talk about that decision to try to go up by 3 touchdowns.
Dr. Crane called in and said, make sure you go for it. So I said, you got it, man. We'll do it. You know, we called timeout, and really, I guess from the coach speak part, you say you go kick the field goal and you go up 3 scores and 3 possessions, and you move on from there, take it in at halftime. But I looked at our players, man. I looked at especially our offensive line and our tight ends and our running backs. And Cole was in there at that time, and they were sitting there. They were on the edge. And I said, you know what, we're doing this. Let's go, Greg. And he goes, okay, let's do it. And boom, calls it and dials it up, and we get in the end zone. It was, but it just showed there's a lot of trust that we have. And I've got a lot of trust in our guys. And you can look at somebody and tell in their eyes if they're ready to go, if they really – ready to get something done. And no, they had it, man. They had a look, and it's hard to describe, but they had a look that you just felt like it's going to happen for them. And, I just trusted them. I thought we could get it in, and we did.
This has been one of the best efficient short yardage teams all year as well. That's certainly that had to play into some of the factor as well.
It does. Our guys come off the ball. We're doing a good job. Last year wasn't so much of that. This year we saw you kick field goals in that opportunity a couple times last year. Yeah, because of basically just the mindset. I think our mindset is a much more aggressive mindset now. We're coming off the football. And then, Cole presents a problem for anybody. I mean, he's a big outfit back there. And so him taking the ball and running up in there and falling forward, he gains 1.5 yards just because of who he is. And so there's a fiery personality that takes place, and our team is around it. And we're physical coming off the ball. I think Branson played probably his most physical game this year at tight end. Damien played well. Matt DeBlazo's on the other side played very well over there. And in our offensive line, when you go Pat Allen and Jarius Gooch and Drew Jones, at right guard is Alfred Beverly, and right tackle is Rendon Miles Carrington, and Wyatt Richtofen plays a bunch. And you look at those guys, man, we're coming off the ball. We won the line of scrimmage the other day.
And I think it's certainly important to bring it up in this one because we saw that 4 times basically for a touchdown in this game. But Cole's getting a lot of the credit. And he's big and he's hard to tackle, but he's not getting hit in the backfield either. I mean, he's getting to the line of scrimmage and being able to get in there.
Well, even a long run, he walked in. There wasn't anybody there. I thought offense. We like I said, we dominated the offense. We dominated the line of scrimmage part with our offensive line. We did a good job. They pretty much last year they did that to us. If you remember, them offensively did that to us for most of the game, and we really didn't move the football until late in the game against them. So I think the mindset. I don't think the talent level is different. I think the mindset has changed, and really happy, really pleased with that part.
Lions win this one 34-0. They were up 21-0 at halftime. Come out. We have had a couple of problems the last couple of weeks on some PATs. I mean, is that any bit of concern at this point?
Yeah, it's a point, man. I want every point we can get. I'm greedy, and I want all of them. So we're continuing to work, because we want to score touchdowns. We don't want to kick field goals, and we want the extra point at the end of that thing.
And like you mentioned earlier, obviously this was a dominating performance. And as a coach, if you're going to nitpick it, I mean, probably left some points out there.
Well, we did, the fumble in the end zone.
Yeah.
The interception was a poor decision that Cole made, but and he realizes that.
Yeah.
But it came right after a turnover, and we're moving the ball down the field. We're on a plus side, and then we got the extra point. But I thought we took advantage of our red zone. Last week we were 6 for 6. This week 5 for 6 with 5 touchdowns, and just the fumble was the only one we didn't get it in. So I thought we took advantage of our opportunities when we got them.
Punted on your first 3 possessions, and then didn't punt for 8 possessions in a row. So
yeah, we tried to run the clock out. That's right. We kept it the rest of the game.
Coach, quickly before we get to a break, I got to ask you defensively, when you're pitching a shutout, is that something that was talked about there in the fourth quarter? I mean, you're up 34-0. I mean, trying to hold on to that shutout. Did players talk about it? Did coaches talk about that?
Well, I mean, there's a pride factor that goes into it where you want the shutout. You want that to take place.
We haven't had a shutout since 2009.
Yeah, so I don't have the record book right there in front of me during the game, Alan. I don't know that part.
I'm just telling
I know you're letting everybody know. But, you want to get all those guys in there. We got a lot of guys, young guys, that we wanted to play, and we wanted to get them in the game, and we got them in there. We want them to play. We want them to experience what we're doing because that's the future of our program. So we wanted to get some guys out, get some other ones in there. If they score, they score, but we felt like we made that decision when we're up 5 possessions and there was no way they could come back and beat us. So we started putting some guys in there to let them play. Tyreek Mitchell from right here at Hammond High School, a true freshman, got in there defensive tackle. Kerry Moore, one of the coolest guys we got on our football team as a defensive back, got in there and made a tackle and an assist. So we got some guys in there that normally don't play and really don't travel much, but they were able to get in the game and play, and it was awesome to watch.
We saw Shucker come in at quarterback as well.
Saw Shucker come in. He's from Arkansas, so we were able to get him in there, and his mom talked to his mom and dad after the game. They were so excited to see him. But he did a good job. He should have kept it one time and just taken off. It was wide open. I don't know what he did. I swear. But but he was excited. So when you see the guys, they're reaping the benefits. You want them to reap the benefits of what they're doing, that there is some value, that to come wake up every morning, go to weights and go to class and go to study hall and come to practice and watch film and do all those things. And so we want to reward them too.
Lions win at 34-0, moved to 5-2 in the Southland Conference in a 4-way tie for first place. We'll talk more about that here later on our program. We're also going to turn our attention to Abilene Christian, Lions' opponent for this Saturday. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we'll have more right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topela right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. I'm Alan Waddell. Coach Scelfo is off the podium, and we're going to bring up the volleyball coach here at Southeastern. Coach Scelfo always likes to invite either an assistant coach or a coach from another sport to be able to come on and introduce themselves to Lion Nation, and we're going to talk with Jeremy White. And, Coach, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. I know you're right in the middle of your season, and I'll tell you, if you haven't been following this volleyball team, this is Coach White's first year here in Hammond. It's been one of the biggest turnarounds, certainly in the Southland Conference. Southeastern only had 2 wins last year, already have 13 this year. Only had 1 conference win a year ago. They're 7-7 and playing for an opportunity to get into the Southland Conference tournament. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, give us a little bit of your journey. I know you've come from Northwestern Oklahoma State. You've been in the Southland Conference before, but for those that don't know you, give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself.
It's a weird situation. I kind of found volleyball in college. I originally started off in baseball. I was a big baseball guy in high school, and got caught up with a guy named Lee McBride. He was the head coach at McNeese for like 14 years, and he was teaching classes there. Got involved in that, got into high school coaching for a while, and worked my way, had an opportunity for a JUCO position. I took an assistant job there, and then on to McNeese, and then Northwestern Oklahoma last year, and then right here in Southeastern now.
I know that you certainly have Southland Conference ties because you were at McNeese. Your wife is from Lake Charles, so I'm sure she was glad to get back here to Louisiana. I'm sure to go from Oklahoma. But I guess talk about what brought you here to Southeastern and this opportunity.
It was a lot of my wife wanting to get back closer to home, and that was a big thing. So we were looking at job opportunities that came open, and Southeastern was really a job that I was kind of pinpointing because I think it's a great area for volleyball in the state of Louisiana. I've kind of fallen in love with the culture of the state, being from Texas, and it's really not that far away. But my wife wanted to be closer to home, and then Southeastern presents a great opportunity for us, one as a family to grow, but also just for developing a program at a university that's does such a great job for our student athletes and really just students in general.
We're talking with volleyball coach Jeremy White. Coach, talk about this turnaround. I mean, it's been a big turnaround. I mean, it's no secret. Southeastern hasn't had a lot of success in volleyball over the last few years, and you have an opportunity now to compete for a championship if you can get one of these last 2, or you get a little help, somebody loses, or you'll be in the Southland Conference tournament. Yeah,
I mean, it's really just been a big culture change for our girls. They've done a great job of buying into what we're teaching and preaching every single day, and we've had our ups and downs and things like that. We've had some rough patches. We have some great patches, but for the most part, it was really just getting these kids to buy into that culture. They've done a great job of becoming great teammates and working hard together and understanding that, we have, a kid like Jody Edo who's a phenomenal athlete and doing a great job for us and leading us kind of, as far as scoring and blocking goes. But it's really, for us, it's been a team, working together that's put us in the situation. I tell people all the time, the only team that probably has more firepower than we do as far as across the board is probably SFA, who's leading the conference with an undefeated record right now. So,
Coach, you also have had some experience in the high school ranks in Louisiana. You were at Barb High School as well over there in Lake Charles. And I guess, how big is volleyball in our state, and how much is it played at the high school level?
It's a growing sport in the state. I've really been excited to see the north part of the state start to really take hold of it. We've seen a lot more high schools. When I was still coaching, it was just starting to kind of get into the Shreveport and Monroe area, and it was really pretty much just an I-10 sport, I-10 or below for the most part. And we've got a great culture of volleyball, I think, within the the southeastern portion, the toe of the boot, I guess you could say. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, the North Shore area has just done a great job of developing talent, bringing in great club programs, and then also developing great high school programs. So.
Tell us about beach volleyball. I know that's a new sport. Tell us about what that's all about.
Beach is it's a little bit different. So we play best of 5.
And you're going to be coaching beach, right?
Yes, I'll be coaching beach. Yes.
Okay.
It's a best of 5 game in indoor, so you're playing 3 out of 5, and it's still kind of a best of 5 situation, but it's what we call a duel. So we're going to be playing. It's all doubles. You'll have 5 matches going on at a time, so it's best of 3 in that situation. So we have our 1s, our 2s, our 3s, our 4s, and our 5s who will all play against everybody else's 1s through 5s. And you got to win 3 out of the 5 in order to actually win the duel. It's kind of like tennis in that situation. Right. But it's all doubles. It's what you see on the Olympics all the time. And, we've got a great new facility out at North Oaks Park that's been, it's really coming together and stuff right now. We're just waiting on a few finishing touches and stuff for it. And
your players will play both? Is that how it works?
We have some beach-only kids, and we also have some kids who are, kind of dual roster kind of situations and stuff. For most part this year, we'll have the vast majority of our indoor kids will be playing. Over time, we'll probably kind of get to where it's a little bit half and half.
And the seasons, how does that?
So indoors in the fall, beaches in the spring.
So you're full time. You got.
Oh yes, it's year round for me now.
No doubt, it year round. We're talking with Jeremy White, head volleyball coach here at Southeastern. Has done a tremendous job. Lady Lions have only had 5 wins combined over the last 2 years. He has 13 this year, 7-7 in the conference. Turned it around from 1-15 a year ago. An opportunity. And give us your scenarios. You have 2 games left, or 2 matches. I guess you don't say games, say matches. 2 matches left. Give us the scenarios of what it takes to get you into the Southland Conference tournament.
We really need to do our job tomorrow night. We take care of Nichols State tomorrow night, and we are in. We've got Sam Houston on Saturday for senior day, so we just really need one of those 2.
They're both at home.
Both at home, so we just need one of the 2, and that puts us in, or we could take a UNO or Nichols loss.
So if UNO or Nichols loses another game or another match, and Southeastern's in, but try to just take care of that yourself.
We don't want to back in. We don't want to back in.
No doubt about it. Coach, anything else you want to share with us here before I let you go? I know you're spending some time with us, and we really appreciate it here this evening.
Just really want to see everybody come out tomorrow night at 7 p.m. to watch us play Nichols, and it's an opportunity for us to clinch the tournament for the first time in a few years, and the girls will really appreciate it.
I had a friend of mine tell me that his daughter's gotten big in volleyball, and they've gone to a few of your matches, and how exciting they are and really fun to watch. So a lot of fun. So if you go out to UC, you got 2 more opportunities to watch this volleyball team. I'd say they've had a major turnaround here in the Southland Conference, and a lot has to do with this gentleman right here to my right. So, Coach, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us, and good luck the rest of the way. Jeremy White, volleyball coach here at Southeastern. Let's take a break. We come back. Frank Scelfo will be back on the podium. We're going to talk more about Abilene Christian, the Lions' football opponent for this weekend on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topela, right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Cool guy, Jeremy White, man. He's done a good job.
Oh, God.
Huh?
I mean,
that's one of the best turnarounds, in the league, no doubt.
You can just watch how they carry themselves, man. It's just such a it's an athletic group. They play hard. They got a lot of energy, all of those things. I know we did the sandbags. We had to go fill up sandbags, and I went out there. A bunch of the people showed up, but a lot of volleyball girls were there, and we started filling up sandbags. And I'm not gonna say they outworked me, but they worked pretty good, right? And maybe they did. Maybe I took a couple extra breaks, but they can go, man. It was awesome. It was just, but I got a chance to know them and meet them and spend some time with them, and under those situations, and it was really cool. I'm just so happy. He is a first-class person. If you get a chance to talk to him, spend time with him, he is an awesome guy. He really is. Great addition for us.
Again, Lady Lion Volleyball has only had 5 wins over the last 2 years. They've won 13 this year and still playing. So they've done
awesome.
a tremendous job here in Southeastern in 2019. Certainly the future's bright in volleyball. Coach, let's get back to football for a moment, as you have a big one this weekend against Abilene Christian. They're 5-5. They're 4-4 in the league. You're going over their new stadium. They've been in it for a couple of years now, but always a tough place to play. And back-to-back, it's long trips. You had to go to UCA. Now you have to go to Abilene. That's tough back-to-back. And this is a team that, we were going through the statistics earlier and talked about this a little bit at your press conference earlier today, that they're in the top of the league in everything. I'm kind of trying to figure out how they're only 5-5, because they've played some really good football and they have done a lot of the ingredients of what it takes to be a good team. They're plus 10 in the turnover margin. Yeah. They're good on defense. They run the football. This is certainly a big challenge for you this weekend.
Well, it is. I mean, when they're 4-1 at home.
Yeah.
Just like we just talked about, and 6 of their games have been decided by one possession. So when you look at all the scores, it's very close football games, and it's just one or two things. They're just a few plays away from being where we are right now, or being at the top of this conference. And, so when you look at those things, they lose to North Texas early, who's a good football team, but then they've run through our conference pretty good. Even though they're at the break-even point in our conference, they're 4-4. All those games are decided by one possession except for the Sam Houston game. And that's winning and losing. I think they're defensively, that's an even front team. Both of their linebackers are in the top 5 in the conference in tackles. Their defensive end and top 5 in sacks. They got another linebacker in top 5 in tackles for losses. Their running back leads the conference in touchdowns. This is a well-rounded football team. They know what they're doing. They're doing a good job. Last year they blew us off the field right here in Strawberry Stadium. They just physically manhandled us. And, besides the last game of the season, that was the game that really frustrated me the most, because I thought we got beat up. So it'll be quite a challenge for us to go out there. But, again, I think our preparation this week is going to help dictate how the game's going to go. And if we have those spirited, high-energy practices again, and we talk about steel sharpening steel all the time, if we have those high-energy practices again, then I'm looking forward to seeing us perform on Saturday.
Abilene Christian was 2-4 at one point in the season. They're 3-1 in their last 4. They did lose a tough one this past week at home to Sam Houston, 24-10. But the week before that, they went 2 nickels and won 37-31 against the Colonels down in Thibodaux. So this is a good football team we're playing. Yeah. I know that you're really impressed with their quarterback, Luke Anthony. He's a good player. Yeah. He had some injury problems middle of the year, and that was one of the reasons that they were 2-4 at one point.
Well, he did. He's back.
Yep.
And then what they've done is that because Luke got hurt, I had a chance to meet him at the media days this summer, and you can tell kind of what Coach Durrell's talking about from a leadership standpoint. He's a steely-eyed kid, man. He was really good to talk to. But when he got hurt, basically what happened, they found another guy, and he's kind of like their wildcat guy. He's a run option player, does a good job. So they're kind of in a 2-quarterback system right now. And when you have that, you have to have 2 different game plans going into it. So it's going to be it's really going to work our guys. They got to spend a lot of time studying and doing what they need to do to get prepared. Defensively, they got 10 starters back. They got 10 out of 11 starters from last year's team, and it's a junior-senior football team. These are guys that he recruited out of high school, and he's grown them up right now. And that's where they are. They're seniors and they're juniors, and all their backups are juniors and seniors. They got one freshman that's playing for them, but all of these guys are guys that they recruited out of high school and grew up within the program. So they've got a solid culture there. And that's what makes them consistently good, Alan.
if you look at what they're doing defensively as well, they're causing turnovers. They've caused 22.
Yeah.
They haven't turned the ball over a lot. They've only turned it over 12 in 10 games. So, again, they're plus 10 in turnover margin. They've recovered 13 fumbles. So they're
That's
going
a
after the
wild
football,
number.
and they're getting
Yeah.
it.
That's a wild number. I mean, that's punching them out every game. Not only forcing 13 is a good number, but recovering 13. I don't know how many they forced, but recovering 13 is really a great number. So they're coming after the football. We go over all these numbers. We give our players all these numbers. They know, they're aware. We show them all the film, all those things. But these guys really hunt the football when you got it because they want it back, and they do a good job getting it.
Coach, you mentioned it earlier. This was out of all the games a year ago, this is one where they just beat us. I mean, we couldn't stop them running the football, and certainly the guys that were in that game, I don't think you'll have any trouble getting their attention this week heading over to Abilene.
They looked at some of the film on them today. Yeah, absolutely. And, they ran for almost 400 yards last year against us right here at home, and that should never happen. And I think that our guys, they remember that. But what happened in the past doesn't apply to what's happening now. I think we've had a great offseason. I think our kids are stronger now. We're leaner. We're more athletic. And we've got a different mindset about us right now. So we're going to play with some confidence against them. We got to go to their place, and we got to make sure that when we walk on the field, we're bringing everything that we can with us.
Schematically, I know we're talking about they run the football and they've caused a lot of turnovers defensively. What do they look like? What are they going to look like offensively for our fans and defensively as well?
Well, I think when Luke Anthony's in there, their I guess drop back quarterback, they're more of an air raid type system. It'll be 4 wide. They'll be throwing the football. They do run it sometimes. They're an up-tempo team. When the other quarterback comes in, there'll be more of a run. It'll be a run first and then play action afterwards. So there's two different. Lance is having to get ready for both quarterbacks depending on who's in the game. And they do have some plays where both of them are in there, so we have to be aware of that. But so that's kind of what you're going to get on defense. They're a 4-down team, 2 inside linebackers, quarters on the back end, sometimes quarter halves. And they do bring pressure, not a lot of movement up front. And what that does, the problem with that is that allows a lot of run-throughs. And that's why they lead the league in tackles for losses. They do a good job getting up the field and playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage because of their movement. I think they're very athletic up front. They're front 6 guys. We
always talk about how important it is to affect the quarterback and protect the quarterback. And one of the reasons we're having as much success as we are offensively, we've been able to do that. As we're number 1 in the conference in sacks against. We've only given up 15 sacks on the season. And we've been able to get after the quarterback. We have 29 sacks as well defensively. On the flip side, for Abilene Christian, they're second in the league in sacks against. They've only given up 18, so he's tough to get to as well.
Absolutely. He gets the ball out of his hands. He does a good job of that. But that's what I was saying. Their offensive line, they do a good job running the football. I think they lead the conference in rushing. They do a good job running the football, then they protect the quarterback. And those are two things that's a direct reflection of your offensive line. When you can look at your offensive line and you look at those numbers, you know those guys are doing the right things and they got the right guys in there. Schematically, it's helping them out.
And I mentioned we have 29 sacks. They have 31. So they're getting after the quarterback as well. So we're going to have to do a good job protecting
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely. This is a good football team, Al.
Yeah,
no doubt. Like I said,
I'm telling you, I'm trying to figure out how they've lost 5 times.
Come watch film with us all week. That's how we do it. These are guys that the record is not indicative of what they should be doing right now because of the numbers that they're putting up. And they don't have the flashy, 4,000-yard passer or the 2,000-yard rusher. They don't have that. It's a solid football team. It reminds me of us because we don't have those 1 or 2 guys that have all these gaudy numbers. We spread the ball around on offense in the run and the pass game. And in defense, we've got a lot of people contributing.
Let's pop up the Southland Conference standings if we can, and we'll take a look at this, Coach, quickly. Again, we mentioned it at the top of the show. It's wild. 4 teams are at the top of the league at 5-2. UCA, Southeastern, Sam Houston, and Nichols are 5-2. Obviously, we played Nichols the last game of the season, so that'll work itself out one way or the other. Sam Houston has already beat Central Arkansas. McNeese is right behind there at 4-3. Abilene's 4-4. UIW 4-4 as well. And still, I think you have 5 teams allowed for the playoffs right now. So again, these last 2 weeks are going to be a lot of fun, a lot of score watching, no doubt about it for the fans. And at this point, it's just, hey, you got to win the next one. We talked about it going into your bye week. You had a 5-game season left, and you've won 3 of those. And you've put yourself in an opportunity where every game gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and I think from day one, somebody told me today, y'all, now you put yourself in position. I said, we've been in position all year long. It's just taking care of what we can control and take care of. We won't be concerned with the other games because we know if we stay the course this week and then again the next week, and then things will work themselves out. So it has nothing to do all the external motivations we don't need. We got to take care of what we can do right now.
Frank, you talked a little bit about being able to develop depth. You've done a good job of that this year. We've been nicked up the last few weeks. I don't think there's any doubt. We're playing with I know that the guys that started at linebacker for us the first game of the year, they're not playing right now. I mean, you had some defensive backs out. You've had some wide receivers out, some running backs out. But where are you overall health-wise right now and going into this final 2-game stretch?
We're in week 11, and it's about like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, it's like everybody else. I think that we're not any better or any worse off than anybody. We can – I guess if you're not doing well, you whine about that. If you are doing well, you say, whatever you. We're okay. We're out there. We're going to compete. The guys that we got are going to compete. The guys that that's the reason you play guys early. You get them going. You develop, and I think that's the part of our job. You don't go out and recruit the great player, and if you can get them, but you don't get that many of them. You got to recruit these guys and develop them over time, and that's the whole idea of developing a base. With the high school kids and then growing those guys up 4 and 5 years and growing them up to be a Southeastern Lion. And I think the passion comes out on the field when you have those people in your program instead of going out and getting a one-year wonder. So that's our philosophy. That's what we'll continue to do, grow it and build it that way. We've got a good foundation. This recruiting class is going to be good. We've got a couple of commitments from some guys right after the game, which was good to see. We've got to strike while the iron's hot, and, we'll continue to see how it goes.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we'll do our drawing. We'll get Coach's final thoughts of the night, and also an update from the University Center. Lion basketball up 36-17 in their home opener here in 2019.
Good.
Let's take a break. We'll have more on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. All right, welcome back. Just a few minutes left to go here on our program. As Lions coming off a big win, 34-0 over Central Arkansas this past week. UCA came into that game ranked 6th in the country. Like playing those teams that are ranked number 6. That's 2 this year.
Yeah,
that should knock down.
One of the guys are saying that. I hope we get ranked, but not 6th. So we can't beat ourselves, guys. Come on, let's go. But yeah, it was that's great. It's a good win for us all.
Lions have a big one this weekend against Abilene Christian. It's a 1 o'clock kick at Wildcat Stadium over in Abilene, Texas. Overall series history between the two schools, it's tied at 3-3. In Hammond, Abilene actually leads the overall series 2-1. Lions lead it 2-1 in Abilene. And again, Abilene got after us a year ago, won 48-27 right there in Strawberry Stadium. So Lions looking to avenge that loss this Saturday. Let's do our drawing real quick.
Yeah.
We had Coach Jeremy White here earlier. He brought us a signed volleyball, and we do a giveaway every week right here at our program for those.
We have a clear bag policy here. Kemmler brings it over.
How many weeks?
He
in a row
loves
is
that. He does that. Yeah.
10 weeks in a row. About
10 weeks in a row.
Same joke.
Does he want? And it keeps going over well. Look at everybody still laughing at it. It's pretty good, man. This place is rolling right now.
Right.
Good job, Kim. You can't get
got?
nothing past him.
Who'd you pull out? Let's see
we go.
here.
I don't know.
Huh, my wife. Elizabeth Waddell. There you go.
That's awesome. That's a tournament.
No, you know what she
right
said
there.
when we came? She said, "Man, I hope they're giving away a blanket." Remember, she won that blanket that last time she was here.
Oh, you won last time too?
No, but she wanted that blanket.
Oh, okay. I was going to say there might be something.
We'll put
with
that
this.
volleyball in the office.
She keeps winning.
No,
That's a conference championship volleyball. Watch this.
Coach, just a couple of
awesome.
minutes left to go here on our show. Certainly, it was a big win. There's no doubt this past week, but it's over. And you got to put that one behind you, and you got to turn the page to Abilene Christian. Your team has done a good job of that all year. I think wins or losses, they've been able to put those behind them and move on. I see a lot of your guys on social media and talking, 1-0 this week, and that's certainly the goal, to go 1-0 this week. And you have a big one this week at Abilene. So kind of give us your final thoughts of the week, of the night, as we head into Abilene Christian this Saturday afternoon.
Well, I think anytime you have a game like we just had, it's so important to close the book on it and move forward. We talk about all the time about writing each chapter of this book all the way through. And when you finish a chapter, you got to turn the page, and we have to make sure that we turn the page. And we've done a good, like you said, we've done a good job of that. The big thing for us this week is to really have some great practices. The weather's going to be cold tomorrow. I want to see us fight through that. We're going to have some outside influences on us. I want to see us fight through. We got players of the week. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. I want to see us fight through that. I want to see us focus in entirely on Abilene Christian, what they do on both sides of the ball and special teams, to put us in a position where we can compete on an even field. Because if we don't do that, then we're not going to have a chance to win. You watch games all the time in college football. The so-called upsets. That wasn't an upset this past week. The only people that are upset are the ones that picked Central Arkansas to win. And then we won, and then so it's an upset. And that happens every week across the country.
Yep.
The teams that play in there do not consider a win an upset. We won because we worked harder, we put everything in place, we had a good plan, and we executed the plan. That's not an upset. That's a good job throughout your program. And that's what we want to do again this week. Abilene Christian beating us is not going to be an upset, and it's not going to be an upset. We beat them. It's the team that prepares the best during the course of the week and then executes that plan on Saturday. And I'm looking forward to it. I've said from day one, I love this team. When I got to camp, I watched what happened this summer. I watched the camaraderie. I watched the way guys worked and maneuvered and put themselves in a position, and then I watched our camp take place and unfold. And there were some really cool things that took place. Now we're seeing it play out through the course of the season, and we got to finish this thing. We can't get all the way to here and just stop. We got to finish this thing, and I think we're going to do that. I believe in these guys. I believe in their passion and the vision for winning this conference championship. Lions
are currently at the top of the Southland Conference. 2 big games left. The first one is at Abilene Christian this Saturday and a 1 o'clock kick at Wildcat Stadium in Abilene, Texas. The game will be televised on ESPN+. As always, you can listen right here on the network with the voice of the Lions, Mark Willoughby, Robbie Rhodes, and myself, Roman the Sideline. We want to thank Jeremy White, volleyball coach, for stopping by and spending some time with us here.
Support him if you can tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night against Nichols. It's going to be awesome.
They're trying to get into the Southland Conference tournament. That'd be a major turnaround for Lion volleyball. We want to thank everyone who came out here today and joined us for our program. We want to thank Topla for being our host each and every week, and obviously Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction for being.
I want to congratulate David Kiefer. I know it's early. I know it's just starting the second half, but I'm going to run over there now. But I know we're going to win. We win in the basketball game tonight. So congratulations before it happens, Dave. I'm the first one. So there you have it. We're out of time. For Coach Frank Scelfo, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.
Broadcasts on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network are a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, Lion Sport Properties is available at area code 985-549-2570.